Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. So class 9, today we are going to continue with unit number 3, that is biodiversity. This is our third lecture. Today we are going to study how evolution of human beings and other living organisms took place. So first of all, science says that human beings, Homo sapiens, have developed from chimpanzee. And we have seen different forms of human beings if we go through history. So, moving into a more detailed study of it, that different kind of living things have been identified on the basis of their body structure, design, their characteristics, behavior, and how they came into existence, and how can we classify them. Classification is helpful so that we can categorize things or living creatures and study them deeply, and it forms 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 classes through which we can go through its early history till today. So if we move on to the classification, there are special scientists known as taxonomists who study the classification of living organisms. We call them taxonomists. And those international taxonomists have created some categories, and those categories are developed in a hierarchy form, from greater to specific, from vast to small. Moving on, from first category is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Whereas kingdom is the vast category and species is the simplified, individual, narrowed category. This is the hierarchy which we follow to study any kind of an organism. First we see to which kingdom it belongs, to which phylum it belongs, to which class, then order, family, genus, and species. Both diagrams are the same. There is not much difference. For an example, if we study the kingdom, that is Animalia. If we study the phylum is Chordata. If we go to its class, the Chordata has a class known as mammals, Mammalia. Then in mammals, the order is Carnivora, those who eat flesh. Then the family is Felidae. Then the genus is Panthera, and the species is Panthera paradis. This is the diagram of Panthera paradis. This is how we identify a species and go to its history so that we can get an idea of its entire characteristics, from where it originated, what is its eating habit, and many more. Earlier, there was a four kingdom system classification given by Herbert Copeland. In those four kingdom classification, the kingdoms were kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi. Plantae dealt with plants, Animalia dealt with animals, Protista was a simple category in which protozoans were present, fungi in which fungus or fungal or viral content was present, those kind of organisms were present. Then later on came the five kingdom system by Robert Whittaker. This is one of the most famous and the most renowned and accepted concept, the five kingdom system of classification. Kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, and kingdom Monera. Now we will go to the next kingdom. This is how these kingdoms were developed by different scientists. Then Carlos Linnaeus came, and he he just gave two kingdom systems of classification. That was just Plantae and Animalia. Then three kingdom system of classification by Ernest Haeckel. That was Plantae, Animalia, Protista. So this is how scientists came and they introduced their systems. So the last one which we are studying and which we think is more appropriate is the five kingdom system of classification by Robert Whittaker. So in order to study it in detail, I can show you these are the five kingdoms which we discussed earlier. Kingdom Monera out of these is defined as that kingdom that do not have a well-defined nucleus, the nucleic part, the central part. These are autotrophic organisms that they develop their own food, or they can be heterotrophic. Sometimes they are having a cell wall, but out of these a few do not have it. So there's a variation in the organisms in this category, but normally they are unicellular and they are autotrophic. Here you can see in the diagram, it has internal DNA, plasma membrane, cell wall, capsule, bacterial flagellum, cytoplasm, and pilus, the cilia type creatures which help in its locomotion. Now the kingdom Protista. This is a unicellular kingdom that has unicellular eukaryotic organism. Eukaryotic organisms are those kind of organisms that have membrane bounded structures. They have hair like cilia. They are autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic means they can prepare their own food, and heterotrophic means that they depend on other organisms for their food. And its example is protozoans. And protozoan means, this is a diagram of paramecium that has cilia, food vacuoles, macronucleus, micronucleus, anal pore, mouth pore, contractile vacuoles, and etc. Whereas in kingdom Monera, its example is bacteria. For example, bacteria available in curd, in cheese, in yeast, etc. Whereas in Protista, its example is paramecium, amoeba, chlamydomonas. So the difference between the two categories is that Monera does not have a nucleus, whereas Protista has nucleus in it. Now moving on to the next kingdom, that is kingdom Fungi. So fungi are heterotrophs. They depend on other organisms for their food. They have cell wall, and its cell wall is quite tough. It is an eukaryotic organism. That means it has membrane bounded structures, and it is a multicellular organism. It has it produce spores as well, and its example is mushrooms, which you can see under trees having shadows. They intake certain kind of nutrients from other plants or from the floor of other plants where most of nutrient accumulation takes place. Now moving on to kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae includes plants. These are multicellular organisms. These are eukaryotic. They have membrane bounded structures. They have cell wall. These are autotrophic, and all category of plants are included in this group. Then the kingdom Animalia. It is also multicellular. It is eukaryotic. It does not have cell wall. The difference between plant kingdom and animal kingdom is that animals do not have cell wall, whereas plants that process the through the process of photosynthesis has a cell wall. These are heterotrophic, they depend on other organisms for their food, and its example is vertebrates. So I think I have made myself clear about the different types of kingdoms and classification system in biodiversity. So you have to go through the lecture from your notes, and you have to learn multiple choice questions and short question and answers, and I will be giving a short test to you tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you, class.